Alright, so I believe that I might be live. Hello everyone. Welcome to KO3. We will just get started right away because there's a pretty long autoscroller at the very start of the run. So let's start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so I'm rythin. I run a bunch of random stuff, this game included. If you didn't know, Kao the Kangaroo is a pretty popular series originating from Poland. This game came out in 2005 and it's the last one in the trilogy until a bit earlier this year the fourth game was announced. The first one in 15 years, so that's pretty exciting. So yeah, in case you wanted something to be excited about, there you go. But yeah, of the trilogy, the most popular game is the second one for sure, Kao the Kangaroo Round 2. And this one, Kao 3 or Kao Mystery of the Volcano, didn't really get as popular, but I still think it's a pretty good game and it's deserves showing off at, well, whenever possible. That said, we do have a 2.5 minute autoscroller at the very start, so that's not that great, but it's fine, we're already mostly done with it. And then we'll get on to the exciting stuff. So, this game had a pretty troubled development, mostly because it was being made as platformers were starting to become less popular and like shooters were more prevalent in gaming. So it actually had its funding cut like in the middle of the development. So the developers just kind of had to throw together what they had and make a game out of it. I just wanted to let that line play out. We're playing in Hungarian. It is the fastest language available. Yeah, that's about it. This game was actually localized in very weird languages. Like, it doesn't have an English dubbing, it has like Polish, Russian, Hungarian, some other ones. Anyway, I'm doing a skip here. I don't know if you noticed. This is what we call Gardens Early, because you get to the Gardens of Life early. Normally what you're supposed to do is talk to a shaman, and then he'll tell you like, oh no, the pelican fell into the volcano, you have to save him. But first you need to prove to me that you are good enough to save him. So do this tutorial section. And that's really slow, so I'm not gonna do that. At least not yet. So I guess a little bit about like the run itself. The category is all artifacts, which means collecting all 4 of the artifacts that are based on the elements. And yeah, so any percent in this game is 6 minutes long, because due to the cut funding of the game, they never really got to do much like testing and fixing up of things. So you can't just go out of bounds and enter the final area right away. Excuse me. But that's really boring. So we're gonna do like most of the game quote unquote as intended. We'll go through most of the levels, at least. So yeah, that's why this category exists. So off note, you saw me hover with dynamite or stall in the air with dynamite. Get used to that because that's gonna be used a lot. Also, you see me collecting these green things. Those are spirits of the forest, as I believe should be translated, or if you go by the official English translation, they are called brownies of the wood. Yeah, I don't know. Translation is not very good. But what is important is there's 1,000 of them in the game, and if you were to play this as intended, you'd need to collect 800 of them to finish the game. Luckily for us, we can skip 200 of them at the very end, so you only need to collect 600. This is because to unlock a level, you need to collect the artifact from the previous level and then put it in the gate, like, of the volcano. And to put it in the gate, you need to have 200 of these spirits. So yeah, we'll be collecting a total of 600 of them. Here we're about to collect our first artifact, the artifact of Earth. But we need to solve a puzzle first. This puzzle has the same block placement every time, but the rotation of them is random. So you're never really gonna lose time to the puzzle, but you do have to pay some attention to it. But yeah, so it's the first level, and then after we do this, we're gonna actually go back to the tutorial, because even though we don't have to finish it, it has a lot of these spirits, and it's basically impossible to do much of anything without them. So we still are going to do it. What else? Oh yeah, so the way the game, because the game is semi-open world, as in there's a hub, and from the hub you can go to levels and stuff. And like, to know at which point in the game you are, there is a sort of progression counter. So whenever you do something important, the progression gets set to whatever value, right? So for example, I finished flying, the flying game, like at the start, the auto-scroller, it got set to 0, because I just basically finished the first thing of the game. Then I would have talked to the shaman, and the tutorial would have opened, and it would get set to 1, to know that the tutorial door is open. Now I collected the artifact, and it got set to 2. So now when I go back to the Pelican Village, the hub world, it'll be at 2. So the game, like, it's supposed to be that the tutorial door is open at this point. So it's just gonna be open. And we're gonna just walk in, which skips talking to the shaman, which is very convenient. What isn't convenient though is that because of this, we do have to do all the levels in order and have to collect the 600 spirits. Okay, more on that in a second. First of all, here's a sequence break. Gonna go to the end of the tutorial. Okay, maybe not. Oh, that's not good. I'm gonna reload the save. Haven't done that yet. Yeah, so you can sequence break to the end of the tutorial and then do it backwards, which is faster. That's unfortunate. I haven't done that in a while. But yeah. So we have to do all the levels in order, because if you were to, for for example, do level 3 and collect the third artifact. Then because of how the progression counter works... There we go, that's better. All the previous artifacts are already despawned and you cannot collect them. So, yeah, kind of impossible to do all artifacts. Oh, excuse me. My throat is not being nice today. But yeah, so just gonna finish up collecting the spirits here. And another thing this game does is there's 4 levels, right? And then between each level is a vehicle section. So you saw the flying before the first level. And now what you're supposed to do is go talk to Gadget, who is an NPC. Well, first you're supposed to hand in the artifact, but I'm not gonna do that. Oh god. Yeah, and then you're supposed to talk to Gadget, who's gonna challenge you to a virtual race. And if you win that, you get a glider, which allows you to enter the second area, right here, but instead of doing that, you can roll up a slope and do a roll cancel, which is a 4-frame jump at the end of a roll, which just lets me jump. That's it. So I can get to this area early. And so I skipped the glider, and the moment I entered here, the progress counter updated so that it's impossible to win the glider anymore. So I have to do the rest of the game without a tool that was supposed to be like a key element of, you know, of the game, the platforming sections. So you may think it's impossible, but, well, you may actually not think that since I did it in a speedrun. Crazy, right? But yeah, we'll do some fancy stuff to be able to skip the glider. Like here, for example. Just gonna stall with dynamite to fly where I need to. Also, something you might have noticed is I saved before entering this area. So as it turns out, whenever you enter a new area, Chaos Dynamite is supposed to get reset to 0. But due to some error in the code, if you save in the area before the transition, then after the transition, you'll have the amount of dynamite you had when you saved, which allows us to basically start a level with dynamite when you're not supposed to. And in that case it helped because I could destroy the gate with dynamite. Normally you're supposed to grab a explosive barrel and walk with it really slowly and then throw it at the gate. I'm gonna take this checkpoint here because in practice I failed this part of the run like 3 times and it's a very big time loss, so I'd rather not, you know? Usually you skip checkpoints because they take forever to get. But yeah, so I'm gonna clean up this area of the spirits and do some funky stuff to get here earlier than you're supposed to. Gonna bait out an attack from this enemy, just so he cannot stun me when I'm jumping on those clouds, because that has happened more often than I'd like to admit. And alright, so we're gonna enter here. This is where the artifact of wind spawns. And you may notice like the streams of air in the background sort of like pillars of air, like those. So what you're supposed to do is with the glider, when you glide into those, they sort of just boost you up. But if you were paying attention, we don't have the glider. So how else will we go back up? Like get up there to collect the artifact? Well, my friends, dynamite, as usual, just solves all of your issues. So we're gonna get on top of this dispenser. Did that wrong. Okay. Get on top of this cloud, and then this one, and then this rock, and then this tree thing, and we're out of bounds. Good start. Then we'll come over here. And if you position yourself like so and just start chucking dynamite like crazy, you may notice a familiar structure. And so we're just gonna come here to the top level. And there we are. Claim the artifact of wind. Very nice. So now I could save and load to go back to the beginning, but I'll take a little detour to hello, to get some more spirits because I need more. You may have also noticed that I had 400 of those spirits in the bottom left. Now I have 200. So the game doesn't really let you cheat in that way. You're supposed to lose 200 when you put in the artifact into the gate. That's when the progress counter increases. And yeah, even though we skipped that step specifically, the game knows that once you go over that, subtract this amount of money from the player. So it's not gonna let us cheat that way. Alright, now we can save and load. And we'll be back at the start of the level. And we can just leave. I'll also save my dynamite through here, because I want it for a tiny optimization. Yeah, in a bit. Alright, so now we do actually have to hand in this artifact, so we'll do that. You'll get to listen to some fantastic Hungarian voice dubbing.
Kiváló. Nálad van a szélős elem is. Akár már oda is helyezheted a kapuhoz, de légy nagyon óvatos. Most pedig egy kis varázslat.
Egy kis bűváj és már megint sikerült neki. Egyre jobb vagy, öregem.
Igenis jó vagyok, semmi baj nincs velem, de viszont csúnyán viselked. Nagyon
In a second, I'll just get to the next level because it has some auto-scrolling stuff. So
when it's good.
Yep. So we'll fly over here with dynamite, because with what else? This guy has the best microphone in the entire studio. And he basically tells us oh, we've known each other for so long. I've never talked to the man before, but yeah, known each other for so long that he can tell us he's the famous boat steerer thing person, and he'll tell us how to steer a boat. So this is called the steersman test. It's got 3 stages: easy, medium, and hard. And we're just gonna be swimming through these checkpoints. What I'm doing here is I'm pressing the boost button when I have no boost, and it just sort of makes my boat go up like that. It is actually a tiny bit faster than just swimming forward, so that's why you'll see me do that. I'll be collecting boost whenever possible, and that will be the next 2 minutes or so of gameplay, so feel free to read out the donation now.
Awesome, thank you. So we've got a €5 donation from Kadarov saying, "Hi Rythin, just wanted to inform you that you seem to have mispronounced brownies as spirits. Can regards."
Thank you, Caddy.
Yeah, thank you so much for your donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep. I will attempt to correct myself and call them brownies of the wood. Yeah. So we're almost done with the second stage. And we'll get to the fun part. I'm actually I think I'm the only person in the KO community who actually enjoys this level. Like, everyone seems to hate on it, but I think it's pretty chill. Much better than the next vehicle level, which is just... oh... that's a fun one. Not. So yeah, on the hard one, you basically cannot make a single mistake, or you will be too late. Like that. That was a mistake. Let's see if I can recover this. Yeah, so if you didn't notice, there is a time limit in the top right. And it's pretty tight on this one. Luckily you get a checkpoint between each difficulty, so it's not too bad if you lose. And yeah, this one is really fun, because you just get a lot of boost and just go zoom in. Alright, we made it, we recovered. Just 10 seconds of more dialogue, and yeah, we'll be able to move on to the next level. There we go. So, we're basically halfway through the game already. Now we're going to Waterfall Island, which is probably my favorite level when it comes to the speedrun. Casually, it's probably the previous one. Wuthering Heights is what it's called. The previous one. But yeah, for the run, this one has a very fun ride, I think. So I'll take a couple detours. I'm actually really good on spirits. I don't need to collect like any of these. I'll get the dynamite. I don't know where I got so many extras, but you know what? I'm not gonna complain. Yeah, my brownies of the wood are in a very good situation, I do believe. Now, here, I'm trying to get out of bounds, which is not working out, because, you know, of course it wouldn't. There's a consistent jump. It's really easy, I promise. Oh my god, really? Please. What is... Alright, it's not the thing I expected to get stuck on, but fair enough. Now we'll just... wow. Alright, this is going well. Okay. Calm down. Please. Alright, and now we're just gonna fly over here. Why was... I need to get more dynamite now. I'm not sure why the game is dropping my my throw input, like after the fourth one. Guess I'll position myself better so that I don't need the fifth one. That is usually extremely free, by the way, but you know we're out of bounds. If you weren't sure, yes, this is in fact out of bounds. Now we'll just use the fact that you can roll up ledges that you're not supposed to walk up, and fall through this hole in the ceiling back in bounds. And this is the last like room of the game, or of the level, I mean. So we've basically skipped the whole level by doing that. We're gonna... So down here you see like this weird maze thing in the water. Oh my god, I cannot believe that happened. So normally what you're supposed to do, what's supposed to happen, is you have to like stealth your way through there, and if they detect you, you get frozen in place, like I did just then. And then, like the floor lowers and you drown. But because I activated it from not the maze thing, I could just live through it, and now the whole sequence is broken, so it's not gonna activate. Also spawn the next artifact, and now I'm gonna just collect 200 brownies of the wood and grab this artifact. Alright. And now we can just save and load to get back out. I'm not actually sure what my dynamite is at. It should be at 7. 7 is a good amount. If I can get 7 or more, that's... Okay, we have 8. That's perfect. So now we need to carry this dynamite all the way through the next vehicle level and into the next normal level. That's fun. But first, of course, we need to hand in the artifact.
Őselem is. Most már minden rendelkezésre áll ahhoz, hogy elhelyezd ezt az őselemet is a kapunál. Aztán csak óvatosan. És most egy kis bűbáj.
And for this one, once this animation finishes, the state is set, so we can just save a load to skip the rest of this cutscene. Which isn't that much faster, but it is faster. And now we have easily the worst level in the game, which is Battle in the Sky. It's like a 5-minute flying and shooting section. And it has a lot of just randomness to it. So get excited. Yeah. So like, when it comes to strategy, the rockets home in on the enemy planes, so just have to aim in their general direction, and then usually just flying slightly to the side of them lets you just not get hit at all. Also the island is, or like the map is split into 2 halves, and depending on which half you are, the enemy planes will spawn on the opposite half, so you can control where they spawn and like expect them. Just pretty nice. I don't know where this guy is. Okay. So that was the second wave. There's 5, and they just get like 1 extra play per wave. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole level. Has very exciting music. This is like very much the result of the budget, the funding being just cut mid-development. Like, you can very easily see that they just needed to pad out the game to have it be longer, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? Still think everything else about this game is better than KO2, but I am in the minority when it comes to that opinion, so no, take that with a grain of salt. Come on, odd. Okay. I think this is the last wave. I'm not actually counting, but I think it's the last wave. I hope it's not the second to last, because that would mean that I have to play another round of this, and I really don't want to. Okay, one more. If that one didn't die? Really? I hit him with like 20 rockets. Come on. Let's take one more. Yep. I think there is actually one more wave. Is there? Yep. Man, I hyped myself up like, yeah, I'm done with this already. So excited to play the game, but no. That's alright. This one's going pretty quickly. Of course, as I say that, they start trolling. Alright, so that was me going out of bounds and getting reset. So the enemies can go above the height limit and outside the boundaries of the map. Just perfectly fine, but you the player cannot, so that's really fun. Alright, now we're done, for sure. Have to be. I'm gonna save the game again, because I don't remember if I actually did. So even though you couldn't see my dynamite in that level, I did have it, and as you can see I still have 7. And I'm gonna carry it into the well, which is the final platforming level of the run. And that is because this is a vertical level, mostly relying on the fact that you're supposed to have the glider. It has this big wind tunnel in the middle that you're supposed to use. But I don't have the glider, so you have to figure out. That was a spectacular miss. We have to figure out different ways to, you know, get through. And that first dynamite stall is actually really precise. So I'm glad I got it first try. Because it doesn't look like much, but it's one of the harder tricks in the run. Right. That was a roll cancel that if I missed, I would have died and started the level over from the beginning. And just as a reminder, it's a 4-frame window in a 60 FPS game. I do not know why I went for it. It saved me like 0.2 of a second. But I did it. You got to witness it, and I don't know. Doesn't look that flashy. So at this point I'm ignoring brownies of the wood because while casually you'd have to still put in the last artifact into the gate, I'm just gonna ignore that and not do that, you know? That sounds better to me. Another spectacular miss. My god. What a good thrower. I am both throwing really well and not at all. Depends on how you look at it, I guess. Alright, so now we have a really hard puzzle, so I'll have to focus to figure out the solution. It's really not as obvious as you think. There's so many layers to this puzzle. Oh wait, it's done. Yeah. Ouch. Alright, and that was the last artifact, so I can just save load. So casually you'd like go up the well as the lava's rising, and it's like really cool and epic, but you can just save and reload. So we don't have enough brownies to put in the artifact into the gate. So instead we're gonna just come over here. Yep. Okay. And we're in the volcano. So yeah. You basically do that right after flight in the 100% run. And it's really boring.
Megmentettél. Sirály, már úgyis kezdett nagyon melegem lenni idelen. Van itt valahol egy tüzes szak, de ne aggódj, simán lenyomod az űrlést, és már ki is szabadulnak. Könyörgöm, szabadítsátok ki át.
And now we're entering the final boss. Fiery Dude. Which is actually the villain from The Incredibles. Yeah, after the movie, he changed his, you know, everything. Became a god of the volcano or whatever. So, this fight has 3 phases. Almost done with the first one already. Each phase has like 2 parts to it. Has this avoidance part where rocks come up from the floor. And he breathes fire at you and is very menacing. And then you pierce his arms and throw an explosive barrel in his mouth. And he takes damage. And then he starts spawning more enemies for you to kill. Oh, come on. And optimizing this fight is actually kind of interesting, kind of really annoying. Depends how you look at it. Mostly because the enemy segments are really random. And you want to take out the flying enemies as soon as possible. And the only way to take them out is by throwing dynamite at them. But the auto target of this game has like a priority list. And the flying enemies are like the lowest priority. So he will always... K will always target... nice miss by the way. K will always target the grounded enemies before the flying ones. I missed again. Alright. You are on the time limit to do that, just for the record. Another thing to note is the flying enemies have 5 health, but sometimes when they collide with either like a wall or an object or another enemy, they can just instantly die for some reason, so it makes optimizing this fight even more fun. But we're almost done. Time is coming up very soon. I will throw one last barrel in this person's mouth, and then a cutscene will play, and that is when the timing stops. So... time. Alright. That was honestly not bad. I had a marathon run of this game go far worse than this, so you know what? I'll take it. So yeah, I've been rythin. This has been Kao the Kangaroo 3, or Kao the Kangaroo Mystery of the Volcano, or whatever else you want to call it. Hope you enjoyed. I believe next up is Resident Evil, so yeah, look forward to that. Keep donating, all that good stuff. And yeah, that'll be goodbye from me.
Thank you so much for your run, rythin. And indeed, right after this we've got Resident Evil. Specifically, it will be a jail shotgun only run by Shido. So once again, thank you so much and GG. And we'll be seeing you after a short intermission. Cheers all.